And we're live. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome back to live stream with Ryan Kittleson. Today we've got some goodies going on. We're going to continue working on this water sprite, which is an original concept by this artist from Norway named Theodore Kittleson, not Ryan Kittleson. That would be me. This is about Theodore Kittleson, not related to me, but with my same last name. Who's an artist 100 years ago. He did a lot of traditional creatures and stuff from Norwegian mythology. And so we're just going to keep working on this today. He did two different paintings, as you can see. And just kind of mixing the best of both worlds into one sculpture. Just kind of bringing my own interpretation into it. And so, yeah, I'm just going to keep going with this. And just have some fun and hang out in the chat today. And see how everybody's doing. So feel free to say hi in the chat, and let's keep working with this. So I think I've got the anatomy pretty close to what I want. So I'm going to retopologize this. As you can see, I use Dynamesh. It's a little messy, or it's a little, unrefined, kind of low res, medium res. So I'm just going to start defining some edge loops for this. Hey, how's it going? Hard to read the name. It's blue on blue for me. Kinney Me Mini. Hey there. Also got some giveaways later on in the live stream. Got some secrets I'm gonna reveal later on as the live stream continues. So to try to make this underwater scene, and I think I'm gonna get into posing this creature now. So for posing, we're gonna ZRemesh this. But first, let me define some edge loops for that retopology to follow. So I'm just going to mask off some of the anatomy. Going to use this masking to define where some edge loops should go. How are people feeling today? Where are people from visiting in the chat today? Hey, Sammy Fredo. Some of this facial anatomy is pretty unusual. I'm going to have to do some experimentation to get something that I like here, I think. I'm going to try to make something that sort of loosely follows the anatomy, but also I don't want to spend, days on it. So I'm going to, this isn't going to be some hero character. So I'm not going to do a really nice retopology. I'm just going to try to get something that's acceptable for rigging and projecting detail from. So just trying to keep some topology kind of a little bit cleaner here. Don't want stray polygroups. Hey, how's it going, A10 Fender? No, A10 Fender. I am from the United States. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I assume you're from South Korea. I don't think they let you guys watch my live stream in North Korea. I don't think they liked the caricature I did of Kim Jong-un. How's it going, AJ from Brazil? Good to see you here. Hey, Anima Joe Candy. That's really cool that you just started learning 3D modeling. It's an adventure, you know. It's a really cool thing to do. So I hope it goes well for you. So I'm not sure how many were here earlier when I mentioned I've got some giveaways for later in today's live stream. Special secret giveaway I'll be revealing later. So be sure to stick around for that. So one little trick for, so I'm trying to identify different areas with different polygroups so that when it retopologizes, the edge flow should follow certain edges that I want it to follow. So sometimes it's hard to do it with symmetry turned on. So what I'm going to do is establish it for one side and then flip it to the other side. So see, I got that, and then let's see, we'll do a little flip. Do a little weld and get that on the other side. So when you're learning 3D modeling, are you, okay, so it's a local school partnered with British universities. That is pretty cool. All right, so let's see how this looks when I do a little ZRemesh on this guy now. It's just setting some settings. You guys can't see my interface because it's off on a different monitor, so just setting some of these settings here on ZRemesher. Let's see how it goes. So while this is ZRemeshing, it's going to take a moment. Let me just tell you a little bit about this secret giveaway I've got going on in the live stream today. So I'm going to be giving a discount for my plugin Ryan's Tools. I'm going to be giving a discount of 50% off. And that lasts for just 24 hours. 24-hour 50% discount of my Ryan's Tools. So this is a plugin that I've been making for years. And it just streamlines so many things in ZBrush, makes work so much easier and faster. So I'm going to be giving that away. Oh, wow. How rude. Well, one side is rude and the other side is like rocking out. All right. So ZRemesher didn't like that so much, but hey, it's a good opportunity to learn what it did wrong so we can make it do something right. So it looks like it just needs some more topology in the feet, the hands, and the head. So what I can do is tell those areas to pick up more topology. So what we can do with that is we can paint these. Oops, wrong button. Come on. Here we go. Got the paint brush now, so I can paint these areas. Where I want it to have more topology. It's called Use Polypaint. It's in the ZRemesher menu, and you can just kind of tell it where you want higher density. And so we just want higher density in these areas of finer detail. And I want to have kind of a soft blend between these two areas so that the topology doesn't like grotesquely jump from high to low detail. All right, so let's see how this is looking. Let's try running ZRemesh again. Hey, Nadira Artist. Okay, so that came out much better. Yeah, I can work with that. There's a couple areas that's really nasty, but that won't take long to clean up at all. So generally for posing and just something to pick up detail for sculpting on, I think this will work really nicely. So asking for tips on how to get started into the 3D industry. First thing I would say, make sure it's what you really want to do. I think some people get into it because they love video games and movies, and they think if they're working with video games and movies, they'll be in the career that's right for them. But making movies and video games isn't the same thing as watching them or playing them. So make sure it's you want to get into the craft of it. And of course, you'll never know until you try it out. So definitely try it out, but keep in mind that it can be very technically demanding. There's a lot of computer stuff to figure out. It's artistically demanding. A lot of creativity, design, aesthetics, artistry goes into it. So make sure that's actually what you want to do, and then work hard at it. And listen to people, listen to teachers, listen to industry professionals, and find out if they think you're going in the right direction with things. And again, some people just don't have the knack for it, and that's okay. You're going to have the knack for something else, but you know, not everybody's going to be able to make it in this industry. So try to keep an open mind, get a good portfolio going, and make sure people can see that portfolio. Make friends with people in the industry. Get a website, get a YouTube channel, Twitch, Instagram, wherever you can get your stuff out there. And then also I would say, you know, try to bring your artistic vision into it. Don't just recreate things that you think people will like. Actually create things that you want to see for yourself. And then just always stick with it. Never stop learning. So that's my tips for getting into the 3D industry. So just doing some cleanup of this mesh here. There's a few problem areas. Nothing too nasty. What do I think of Blender? I think Blender is pretty cool. I don't really use it myself so much because I already know and have Maya, and I know ZBrush, and I already got that. But I think it's really awesome what they've pulled off for free, and they've got quite the fan base. I think one of the things that's preventing Blender from being more accepted in the professional industry is just simply the fact that the field is already filled with, you know, Maya and ZBrush. And when professionals just want to get something done, they want to go to something that they know is going to get the job done, you know, right now, with the skills and the time they have. And they don't have time to risk, you know, some software that might be cool, but it's, you know, just not what they know they can get the job done with. And, you know, just because it's free, you know, if you're working in a video game studio or you know, on a movie with you know, there's millions of dollars of budget going into this, and so the cost of the software is pretty minimal. And so yeah, just you know, it just doesn't make sense to go to something free just because you can, you know, just to save a little bit of money, when, you know, really what's important is getting the job done. So we're just I'm gonna clean up a little nasty bit of stuff with the retopology here. Let's see how I can do this. I'm gonna use slice mesh between some points and just kind of try to clean this up because this is really nasty. So there's a question, is there a point to post work that you did following a tutorial on ArtStation? Yeah, why not? I would say let people know that it's from a tutorial, so that nobody's like, hey, that's from a tutorial. You should have just said so. But that's fine, just say so. So ZBrush is not the best, I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to doing this sort of really like vert, edge, and polygon level, polygon editing. It's kind of clumsy, honestly, but the time it takes to go to Maya, and also the fact that they don't want me to use other software in this live stream kind of means I'm stuck with muddling my way through it here. Yeah, we're almost done cleaning this up. Yeah, Blender is great. I mean, if you're on a limited budget, I mean, it's way better than what I had for free when I was starting out. You wanted to use Pavre. Type in all of your commands through a text interface. That's how we had to do it back in the day. Yeah, if you search my name in Google, you'll find all kinds of stuff that I did. So yeah, just Ryan Kittleson. You'll find my website, you'll find my Instagram, you'll find my YouTube channel. All right, so we're getting close to the finish line on this. A little bit of cleanup here. Let's weld that, get symmetry back. Try to even out some of this topology. Okay, let's just do a quick look around, see if there's anything else that's kind of nasty. That's kind of weird right there. What's going on? It's a part that's not really going to be seen too much. I'm just going to do a little cleanup here. I don't like the fact that it's just making two triangles together, even though it is on the border of two polygroups. Polygroups don't matter too much in this project. Yeah, I don't really need the topology to be super clean for this one. Oh, wow, something really nasty on the tail. Didn't see that before. Okay, hold on. Hold on, we gotta do some major reconstructive surgery on this guy. Yep, that is totally true, Harold Wayne Jackson, about the chicken and egg thing. Yeah, I guess, you know, that's just the way it is. But, you know, Blender is gaining ground. It's getting some adoption in the professional world. So maybe one day it will be commonplace. Yeah, Peter, I agree. Box modeling and just general like polygon level modeling in ZBrush is kind of weak sauce. I mean, you can kind of get it done, but I mean, it's kind of cumbersome. You can't really cut things the way you'd like to in Maya, for example. So one of the limitations in ZBrush is you can never have any polygon that has more than 4 sides at any point. And while it's true that generally you don't want to have a model that ends up with more than 4 sides, they can be useful temporarily while figuring things out, and not being able to do that temporarily in ZBrush while you figure things out is a real disadvantage. Okay, I think we've cleaned up everything that's too nasty to live. Let's reproject detail now. Actually, there is one other thing I want to clean up. Is it a bad habit to stay in Dynamesh too long? Good question, Edgarus. Yes, it is a bad habit to stay in Dynamesh for too long. Assuming that too long, but see, that's the question, is like, what does it mean to be in it too long? It totally depends on what you're doing. There's so many different scenarios of what the project is, what the output is, what you need to do with it, that saying when the right time is to go from Dynamesh to Retopology is anybody's guess. So only you can figure out through experience. Oh, sorry, I have this chime that's going to be loud. Only you know through experience when the right time for you is to switch from Dynamesh to something else. So I would say experiment with staying in it longer than you think you should, and you'll find out where that border is. Good question. Yeah, you always think you're done cleaning up topology, and then you find something else to clean up. I'm going to go ahead and save this really quick. And while it's saving, quick reminder, later on in the chat today, I'm giving away a discount for my plugin Ryan's Tools. Now, Ryan's Tools, I've been working on this for years. And there's so many things that I just fly through it. And every once in a while I have to, when I'm teaching ZBrush, I can't use Ryan's Tools for teaching it. And I'm just like, wow, this ZBrush is so slow all of a sudden. Why is everything taking forever to do? And it's like, oh, because I don't have Ryan's Tools right now to just zip through everything. So I'm giving away a discount for that. It's unlimited discount for 24 hours. So when I give that away, you guys will be able to share that with other people. And yeah, hopefully everybody will have a better time with ZBrush, which is a good thing. You make cool stuff faster. Why do I sound like Elon Musk? I don't know. That's a really good question. I think it's because Elon Musk saw some of my YouTube videos and he's like, I really like the sound of that guy. I'm gonna try to copy his style. I think that's what it was. Yeah, Edgar, sculpting in higher detailed density, but staying in Dynamesh. I mean, at a certain point, your computer is going to say, no, this is too dense, and it's going to start slowing things down. So that's often a time when you might want to switch over. It does not have to be updated for each version of ZBrush. So you can use, yeah, so new version of ZBrush comes out, you can still use the old version of Ryan's tools. I am updating it regularly, so when like a new version of ZBrush comes out, and then I come out with a new version of Ryan's tools, it's always for the latest version of ZBrush. So if you have a new version of Ryan's tools, but an old version of ZBrush, it might not work. Actually, it won't work. So a question from, oh boy, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. How to create a hole through and through. Yeah, that's always the big problem in ZBrush is how you make a hole through an object. I'm not going to get into that for this video because there's a lot of different ways to do it, and it depends on what the project is and what you're trying to accomplish and what techniques you're currently using at the moment. There's lots of different ways. You could delete polygons on the front side and the back side, and then use ZRemesher to connect the hole. It's called bridge hole. You just click on the edge of one hole and the edge of the other hole, and it connects geometry through there. But you know, that's not the right solution for every project, so you just kind of have to do some research on that. Okay, so we are done with the quick and dirty retopology here, and let's get into reprojecting some of that detail. So for this, I'm going to use history. So I'm going to come back in my history to before I ZRemeshed. Okay, so we're back there. Control click on that history point. Come back to the ZRemesh, and we're going to use project history for this. So just giving it one subdivision level, hitting project history. I'm just going to do this a couple times, just adding a subdivision level, and then project history until we get that detail back in. Yeah, it's too bad about, you know, Pixelogic being bought by Maxon and ending the free updates. That is really disappointing. I mean, it still makes sense for me to buy it because, you know, I'm using ZBrush professionally and it would just be too much work to learn something else. And, yeah, so they got me there. They're going to get more money out of me. So I'm just going to do one more subdivision and one more projection from that history point. Okay, so the question from Brain is, how can I get an environment like mine in ZBrush? That is part of Ryan's tools. So yeah, I'm going to be giving away a discount to Ryan's tools later on today in the live stream. So keep an eye out for that. So yeah, in Ryan's tools, I've got this background. You can notice this grid environment, and it's just a way for me to stay oriented, especially when you're starting a project. You might start with a cube or a sphere, and it's hard to know which is up, down, left, right, front, and back. And so if you have this like grid environment, you can always see at a glance. If you're looking at the back of the room, the front of the room, top, bottom, whatever, there's little cues like the color of the wall. It's the back wall is blue, the front wall is red, and then the side walls have a gradation from blue to red. And so you can always tell at a glance what angle you're looking at your scene from, if the model itself is confusing or unclear. The discount giveaway, is it only for one use? No, it's an unlimited number of people can use the discount, but only for 24 hours. So if 1 million people want it, 1 million people can get it, just for 24 hours though. So feel free to share the code with other people so they can get a discount as well. But the only place I'm sharing it is right here in this live stream today. After that, it's going to be gone. It's not, nobody else knows about it. It's just a secret for everybody listening to me right now. You special lucky ones. Okay, cool. So this guy is getting ready to pose. So I'm just going to try to look at some of my original reference here. Kind of get a sense for how I want to pose him. Yeah, nothing too crazy. We'll just start getting into that. And because he's got symmetry, I can use posable symmetry on this guy. And that'll make it nice if I want to, make any sculptural adjustments symmetrically. I can do that after it's posed. So it looks like one thing I want to do is kind of bring the knees tucked up, bring the legs tucked up higher up into the torso. One of the nice things in Ryan's tools is this feature to automatically place the gizmo in the center of a joint. So let's see how I've got that masked off. Ryan's tools, I just automatically just boom right to the center of that. So when I go to pose it, it's posing from the center of the joint rather than having to manually position it every time. That is a huge time saver. So just trying to look at my concept art here and just see where a good place is. And I'm also just kind of doing my own interpretation. Another thing in Ryan's tools is that zippy mask grow and shrink. Just a single hotkey, and it just grows, and you hit escape when it ends up where you like. And do a little refining to that, and then boom, put the pivot point right in the center of that. Let me blend my mask a little bit, or blur it, get a little softer effect. Actually, I'm going to have this other leg kind of bent differently at the ankle. And then just try to have it bend more at the toes to match up where the ground plane is falling for the other foot. I'm going to try to be a little bit more precise with this. Have it try to bend at the joints, actually. You know, I put joints in there for something. Might as well have the creature bend at those joints, right? Background color, that's part of Ryan's tools, as I was mentioning earlier. Part of my plugin that I'm giving away a discount for later on in the chat today. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, cool. Yeah, just kind of getting a little step look there for the character. Kind of have a little interesting dynamic pose going. Probably refine that a bit more later, but you know, something to start with. All right, let's do something with the arms now. Get this one arm kind of tucked in a little bit. It's going to be a little messy at first. Definitely going to need to do some cleanup after this, but that's all part of the process. Just going to switch to a material that makes it a little easier to see what's going on the surface of the model. I've never heard of Man After Man. What is that? Some sci-fi movie? And of course, posing fingers always takes forever. Oh, that sounds cool. The aquamorph. Kind of like Waterworld, but good. Okay, there's one hand somewhat posed. Let's see, I'm going to bring the ground up to meet those feet. How about that? And I might do some sculpting of that ground to help it fit the feet a little. That's the funny thing about this. It's like, instead of putting a lot of time into sculpting the feet so that they sit properly, I could have just put the feet however I wanted and then made the ground to fit. Now that's what I call shooting the arrow and calling whatever I hit the target, which you can totally do in ZBrush. Anybody play video games? I just finished a video game this weekend called Hyperlight Drifter. Has anybody played that one? Oh boy, that game has some amazing art, pixel art, like 16-bit style, and the music, the art, the animation, the action. Such an excellent game. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Yeah, the Gizmo, this is my custom Gizmo, and it is part of Ryan's Tools Pro. So if you get the Pro version, it's included in there, along with some other extras. Ryan's Tools Pro is typically $20, but today I'm giving away a discount for this live stream only. For 24 hours, there's going to be a discount code I'm going to give away later. But yeah, Ryan's Tools Pro has custom gizmo, also custom brushes, alphas, materials, some other goodies as well. And then there's a $10, no, sorry, a $5 version that has the full plugin but not the extras. So a discount for both of those today. Just pay attention, and I'll be dropping it later on. Yeah, that gizmo, or the background, is different. I was talking about that earlier. That's also part of Ryan's Tools. So yeah, get the code that I'm going to give away later today, and you can get the custom background too. So the gizmo is it's just a little different how I've arranged it. For me personally, it just works better. I've got the rotation axes the way I like. Get a nice little arrow pointing which way things are going to move. You know, it's a little different. It's just a little unique. It works for me. I like it. So there's not really bone rigging in ZBrush. There is kind of a way to get Z-spheres to act like a rig, but it's a little cumbersome. I don't like it. So generally it's a process of masking and moving the pivot point, which is cumbersome, but you know it's not made for animation. It's made for just kind of a one-time posing. And it gets the job done. I've got some features in Ryan's tools that help with that, like for example moving the pivot point to the center of a joint. So let's say you've masked such that your mask is at the border of a joint, right? Like you can just quickly move that pivot point right to the center of the joint, which makes that so much easier. And then I've got some features for growing and shrinking masks sort of dynamically or actively, like the mask actively grows and you hit escape when you like where it's at. So all very cool features that help with posing. I'm gonna make a couple adjustments to this actually. Just gonna open this finger up a little bit more. Yeah, if you want to do games, animation, anything with a real rig that needs to actually animate the character, yeah, ZBrush is no way are you going to get that done in ZBrush. It's just not possible. No matter how hard you try, it just will not work because the feature isn't there. Okay, looks like I'm going to hunch this guy over a bit more. Oh, actually, let me make sure I can move the teeth and eyes along with it. Yeah, that would be pretty freaky. See this guy while you're out fishing. Okay, cool. generally like the pose. There's probably some fine tuning I'm going to do to it later, but at least gives me something to keep working with for now. Let's see, next thing I want to put in, so the original art has this kind of like a water lily or something floating up there. What I like about this one, hopefully you can see my cursor, the one on the right, there's actually like the stem growing up, and like he's holding the stem, and then when some unsuspecting creature comes and is attracted by the water lily, then he can go capture it. This one, I kind of like the shape of these stems better, but he's not actually holding it, so I'm just going to kind of mix it up, make the best of both worlds. Yeah, some kind of lotus flower, who knows. It's bait. Bait for an unsuspecting victim. Yep, smart dude. Let's see, this one's kind of in the way. I'm going to move this water lily somewhere else, or this lily pad. Just going to get it out of the way for now. Can always reposition things later. Alright, I'm just going to grab one of these and make it the bait. All right, let's make a lily. I'm gonna hide. Well, let me organize my scene a little bit here. I'm gonna start putting things into folders to help organize things. You can't see it, it's off screen, but yeah, I'm just doing a little organization, a little housekeeping. So the question is if the water portion will be faked in Photoshop. Actually, no. What I'm planning to do for that is I'm going to create I kind of already have this, well, I have a cube that's a Boolean object. It's kind of cutting out the ground. I'm going to get another cube that sort of rises up to the water level. So it's sort of like a water cube. And then I'm going to render that in a nice renderer, and kind of give that a translucent, murky water material. And so it'll be kind of like a cube of of water. And hopefully get some nice renders out of that. Would be a cool project to 3D print this and then put it in a box and then fill it with resin. And then you actually have a like a cube sculpture with, you know, the creature frozen in resin. That's a project for a different time though. Actually, I'll just use this cube here. I'm going to try to use a ray mesh to take this like one petal and turn it into a series of petals. Let's just see how this is going to work out. Alright, I'm just going to fiddle around with some array mesh settings. Let's see how this is going to work. Yep, this is still ZBrush. The Gizmo looks different because it's part of Ryan's tools, my plugin, which I will be giving away a discount to shortly. Yeah, every once in a while a remesh makes something cool. Sometimes I have to struggle with it for a few hours first, but you know, as long as what you're making is, I mean, luckily with this, you know, it doesn't have to be anything super precise or accurate. I can just kind of make something that looks cool and then just call it done and be done with it. A lot of times if you're trying to make something very particularly precise, you know, to follow exact concept art or something like that, it's just, it can be a lot more tricky to get what you really want. Okay, cool. I like that. I'm going to lock that in. Make mesh. And let's see, there's this other one too. Two separate ones. I'll combine them into one. And then I'm going to just make a few like random changes to various petals. Just give it a little bit more random organic feel here. All right, got that done. Let's see, what is it? It's almost 10. It's almost time to give away some prizes, you guys. What do you think? All right, everybody, check out the chat. There's a link in there. Follow that special link to Gumroad. Get yourself 50% off Ryan's tools for the next 24 hours only. That's right, Edgar. Let's go. Now, I'm only giving this link away in this chat, in this live stream right now. I'm not putting it on Facebook. I'm not putting it on Instagram. I'm not putting it on an email blast. Only for people on this live stream. You can share it with other people. You can send it out, put it on your Facebook, whatever. But I'm not putting it out anywhere but here. So lucky you, that is true. Yeah, just if anybody uses that today, if somebody wants to, if somebody knows they're going to buy it and you want to test that out, let me know if there's any issues doing that. I haven't tested that code personally myself. I just made it. It should work, but if there's any issues, please let me know. I'm gonna give this guy, put it so the head is kind of more in the center. Alright, let's refine some of that anatomy. Since I put them into pose, then some things get a little weird. So I'm just going to resculpt some of this. I actually don't have my own 3D printer. I find, I hear a lot of stories from people who have their own 3D printers, and they're kind of a pain to maintain. And so, yeah, I just go through things like Shapeways or iMaterialize, and just pay someone to do the 3D printing for me. It works out a lot easier that way. There are some cool new printers actually coming out. I mean, the prices on large scale resin printing are just so much lower than they used to be. You can there's a printer, I can't remember the name. I think it's the Polyphenol, or is it the I can't remember exactly. But anyway, there's one out there. It's making a big printer. It's big enough to print like a football helmet or something. It's only $2,000. There is a story behind that awesome skull on my door. So that was a project I did for a freelance client years ago. Had this client that was making giant skull helmet sort of costume heads. And yeah, I got one, just sort of like a thank you for working on the project from the client. And just kind of painted it myself with a Mexican sugar skull pattern. And yeah, just like I felt like putting it on my closet door was a fun thing to do. Thanks. Let me see. I'm just going to move some of these bits of seagrass out of the way. See if there's anything weird intersecting with the anatomy. Yep, I got one sticking right up through the foot here. Actually, I want to move some of these grasses back behind him. There should be sound. Can anybody hear me? People can't hear me? Oh, actually, question about Robert Crumb. So I was not able to. Kind of just didn't really put time into it. I'm sure he gets like a lot of requests and emails about stuff like that. So I haven't got around to it yet. Oh yeah, sorry. Sometimes I just get focused in what I'm doing and I forget there's people here listening to me. So yeah. So here's something that happened that was I wasn't expecting, but the way I've got this this ground, you know, the ground just kind of has this organic random texture on it, and then I'm cutting it out, and then I didn't realize this when I was making it, but it kind of leaves a little pattern on the flat side, which I kind of like. I'm going to do something with that on the other sides too. So I get just a little bit of that coming through on the sides. Yeah, I like how that looks. That was a nice little happy accident. Bring out some more of it in select places. All right, let's take a look at the original art and see what else I can work on. So looks like some of the seagrass has, you know, there's leaves, different leaf patterns on it. It would be super cool to attend the ZBrush Summit. Yeah, I don't know if it's happening or not, but I've been in the past. Always a fun time. So hopefully they're doing it in person again. So the Gizmo, that's my custom Gizmo. It's part of Ryan's tools. I guess you weren't here earlier, but giving away a half off for the next 24 hours, Ryan's tools. So check that out in the chat. You got it. Left shift. Where's right shift? You have a friend named Right Shift? That is true. Whenever I hit shift, it's usually the left one. I can see the pattern on my keyboard over the years of using it. My fingernails wear off the paint, and I can see which keys I use the most, which in ZBrush is definitely the left alt. That paint's just worn right off that key. Let's see, I need to scoot everything so it's inside the cube shape. So I'm going to make a quick adjustment here. And let's see, there's a couple other these lily pads that are escaping. Bring these guys inside. I think I made these pads a little thick. Just going to tone that down a little bit. I'm going to give this guy a little twist to his spine. Try to make the pose a little more dynamic. Oops, I forgot. I've got Symmetry turned on these teeth, I think. Yep. That was causing a weird glitch when I was trying to rotate this. Hey, thanks, Edgar. Wow, someone got the plugin already. Congratulations. You've just taken your first step into a larger new world. Give him a little tilt in the hips too. Help make that pose a little more dynamic. All right, we're coming up to the end of the live stream for today. So if you haven't got that Ryan's Tools discount yet, check it out in the chat. Scroll up a little bit if you have to, and take advantage of that 24 hours only on that. Feel free to share it with other people, but I'm only sharing it here. I'm not putting it on YouTube or Instagram or anywhere else. It's a very special gift for my stream viewers today. All right, so I think we're getting pretty close to the end on this guy. Next week, what I want to do is just kind of refine some of the anatomy, just kind of have fun with it as a sculpture, put some, maybe some more leaves on it, some of that seagrass leaves, refine some of the anatomy, just kind of put some fun anatomical nuances into it, give him a little some more skin texture, surface texture, wrinkles, bumps, maybe some mossy texture. He looks like he's growing some seaweed off of his head or something. So yeah, just gonna keep going with it, just making it look super cool, do all this cool stuff that ZBrush does, and yeah, gonna keep on keeping on. So thanks everybody for joining today, and I hope you have a great one. See you next time.